collecting any kind of card game at all, one issue that everyone runs into at some point is the issue of card storage. And what do I mean by that, right? Everyone has some sort of system when it comes to this. Some people use like, cardboard deck boxes, and some people use just like regular tins for their just like top loaders, and then they just put them all into like a tin or maybe like a cardboard box. But sometimes when you start entering the territory of having things like graded cards or just one touches in general, when you have cards that are a little bit more valuable that you want to set aside, you're going to need to come up with a certain solution to separate those cards from maybe the cards that aren't worth as much, that you don't need a more secure storage. And when I was looking for options on how to store hard cases and graded cards, I came across the most common example people use is Pelican cases, where there's these like really expensive cases that have foam inserts that you could cut out in order to insert whatever you want to put in there. People use it for expensive things like cameras or just delicate equipment in general. But for me, I don't feel like I really wanted to shell out $200 to $400 just for these cases, especially when they were charging like really high prices just for even like really small ones that don't fit a lot of them. And this is not a sponsorship, so I'm not shilling for this company, and I just want to give an example that there are examples that are good replacements for the Pelican cases that are just as good and actually a lot cheaper, and you can actually store a lot of things in there. And I actually found this foam case that was on Amazon where it's not expensive and it's actually a pretty good size, where it has these foam inserts that you could rip out to put in whatever cards you want in there depending on the size. So if you have like top loaders, if you have one touches, or if you have graded cards, you could fit whatever it is to your needs. But yeah, if you want different options, all you really have to do is just look up hard shell foam cases, and they actually have a ton of them all over Amazon, as well as I believe they sell them at Harbor Freight as well too. They have their own version of like a Pelican look-alike-ish. Of course, they're not as premium probably as a Pelican, which I never had one before, so I don't really know the actual difference. But if you're just looking for a case to store your more like, valuable cards, or cards that are a little bit more delicate, you're worried about them getting damaged from just being in like any other regular container, I think these are really good alternatives, because for the same size, you're paying like almost less than half the cost of it. So you could get like multiple of at the price of getting just like one Pelican. So just think about that. So the case actually did come with dividers for it, which I'll show you. Like, it goes into the case, but I don't use them because I just felt no need for them, and they don't really give you that many to begin with anyways. And it does have these slots here where they're for a key for you to lock it. I don't use it just because for the fact that I feel like it's probably really cheap and flimsy. So in the case that if the lock breaks, then I don't even know how I'm going to get into the case. And then pretty much this is how you store your cards, right? So I have different types of cards stored in here. I have my graded cards, CGC, PSA, or whatever it is. And then I have all my one touches, and on the side I have these top loaders that I have here. And one thing you want to also be aware of is when you put it in there, you can only have probably one layer of one touches in here, because if you try to stack anything higher than one layer, it actually will not fit and it will not close. So just be aware of that. So as for if you have one touches, how many you can actually put in between them, I would say it's probably like 1, 2, 3 rows. If you try to squeeze in a fourth row, I don't think it's possible. So how it works is it actually has these like foam inserts that you could pull out and pluck to customize the size that you want it. So I always kept like one on the edge, one between each row, as well as like I was only left with a little bit of side space here. So I ended up putting just like a bunch of top loaders in here with like the sleeves. So it's actually a pretty snug fit in general. And I don't actually have a lot of graded cards, so I ended up just making the top end a little bit wider, since I only was able to fit 2 rows of top loaders here. So in regards to actually one touches, you'll see I could fit actually like a whole row of all these one touches, and they fit really well, and it's very, very secure in the fact that there's like a layer of foam in between everything. And pretty much I think this is a really, really, really good storage solution if you're looking to just like store one touches. You have a lot of cards that, you know, you don't have in regular top loaders, and you just want to like have them a little bit more secure. But as for like if it's like waterproof or something like that, I really wouldn't be able to tell you. I actually also counted around how many one touches you could fit in each row of this, and it's roughly around between 33 to 35. Of course, you could always cut more of the foam rather than having like a layer of foam in the front here and a layer of foam in the back here, but I probably wouldn't suggest this. So snugly, I would say around 35 one touches. If you're doing just top loaders and you don't use one touches, you could probably fit a lot of top loaders in here, and you would have no issues at all. And then to touch back on the dividers thing, like I said, it came with these dividers. I guess if you were to just pluck out all the foam, and you could slide it in between these like line slots that you see here. But I really don't feel like there's really a point to this, especially if you're just gonna keep the foam anyways. But I guess if you have like these like custom little slots that you could do, I guess it's not that bad. But as for an actual storage solution, I feel like for something that's like $60 to $70 as opposed to $200, $300, $400, and the fact that you could fit so many of these, because I would assume most people, when it comes to like their more expensive cards, their collection is probably not as big. But even if you're just looking to store like a crap ton of top loaders in here, one of these could probably go a pretty long way for you. Yeah, that's it. Jesus, this thing is heavy. So if you're just looking for some sort of storage solution where you don't want to rely on a cardboard box and you just don't want to toss them all into like a bin, I think that if you have like a lot of top loaders, if you have like a lot of graded cards, this is a pretty good solution, and it's pretty sturdy and it's pretty secure. As for if it's waterproof, again, I really don't know. But if you're just looking for something that, you know, could survive maybe if you're moving, or just from like, you know, if you are afraid it's gonna get tossed around and it'll get damaged, your cards, then I think this is a really good, you know, economic solution that you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for. But yeah, nothing too crazy on this video. I just kind of found one of these and I thought it's a really good storage solution for people that do collect cards, and I just wanted to share it. Thank you for watching and have a great day.